Holland, I think you're right, except for one point. Well, a couple of things, but the because of the way that this it's stated, here's what they give this the parametric equations. X was 2 to the t, y was the square root of 3t minus 1. So I've plotted that here. They gave a restriction. T goes from 1/3 to 4. Okay, certainly t we wouldn't want it any less than 1/3 because that would be a square root of 0 as it is, and if you had it less than 1/3, this would be a square root of a negative. We're going to get outputs. Okay. So this set of parametric equations describes this graph. This would continue on going, but since they chopped it off at 4, the biggest x value here is 2 to the 4th power, which is 16. And I think that's the only issue that I have with your answer is that you cut it off at x equals 20. I think you got to cut it off at 16. But here's the interestingly, I think the book's answer being this exponential form, x is 2 to the this thing. Actually, this describes more than what was described by the parametric equations, because the parametric equations only described the upper half of this thing. Where here you're not worrying about whether y is positive or negative because you square it. When it was written as y equals the square root, it's got to be a positive. So anyway, this is more. So this definitely needs the restriction that they put on it, and they put on it that y is between 0 and the square root of 11. Now if I actually do that, let me see if I come down here. This is the black curve. So y is going to be, if I cut it off at 0 and the square root of 11, then it should be the same graph. Yeah, it chops right off there at x equals 16. So that's the same thing with the restrictions that they had on it. And then your answer is this one with y equal to the square root of 3 log base 2 of x minus 1. And again, the only issue is you chopped it off at 20, but I think what you got to do is you got to chop it off at 16, and it'll look just like the other ones. Right? But your algebra is good. I mean, you chose to solve for t in the x equation and plug that into the y, where they chose to solve for t in the y equation and plug it into x. Either way, you're eliminating the parameter, and you've got the same curve described. Okay, there you go.